हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद, प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद, प्रणाम।
Dandavat pranams, Prabhuji, Mataji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
हरे हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम।
धन्यवाद प्रणाम पद्मावती माता जी। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम।
बिल्ली सुंदरी माता जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम। हरे कृष्णा।
धन्यवाद प्रणाम प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्णा।
धन्यवाद प्रणाम श्रीनिवास प्रभु। हरे कृष्णा। Yeah, sorry, one call came. It was regarding Janmashtami, so there were some small discussions they had. Okay, we will resume this this chapter. Om Agyan Timidandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayi Dati Swa Padantika. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gauravakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langaya tegirim yakripa tamaham bande Shri Gurun Dina Tarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So we are resuming our discussion. This is chapter 14, I believe. We are discussing what Rupa Goswami says as the items which are not part of sadhana bhakti. They may support in some way, but they're not really considered as the anga of devotional service, sadhana bhakti. And last week we were discussing about one was karma, and then we started discussing about knowledge and renunciation. And we were discussing about how renunciation can be not keeping bhakti in the center. Like there are many people who practices many kinds of renunciations. Like there are many people who's, even common people, they also like not eating sweets for health reasons. So many people who do many kinds of renunciations. For political reasons, people exhibit take severe vows of renouncing, say, home and living on the street and not taking any food and water. There are many people who practice, but it is said that just by practicing renunciation artificially, the heart will become hard. And by practicing renunciation does not mean one is doing bhakti. And we were discussing how we saw the example of milk drinking brahmachari, and Mahaprabhu says by renouncing something, you cannot attain me, you can attain me only by devotional service. And then we saw when the actual renunciation is when one develops attachment to Hari, attachment to Krishna. And to the extent we become attached to Krishna, our material desires reduces. Our heart becomes pure. When the heart becomes pure, greed goes away, lust goes away, envy goes away. When they go away, to the extent the heart becomes pure, material desire reduces. Now we don't need many things or many sources of pleasure that were required for us in the past. So that seems to be renunciation, but that's natural, because it is coming from the effect of attachment to Krishna. This renunciation, or the renunciation to attract Krishna's mercy. My Lord, I don't want to do this. I will give up these things because I really beg your mercy. I am doing this just to show you that I beg your mercy. I am very fallen. I am very lowly. I am very degraded. My heart is full of anarthas. So I beg your mercy. And this is just a way I'm showing. So when it is connected to Krishna, either it is done from effort from our side to attract Krishna's mercy, or it is done naturally because the renunciation is awakened in the heart as a result of bhakti. Those two renunciations are very good. In fact, we see the example of Sanatana Goswami. When he was released, he was not released. When he bribed, he was put into jail by Nawab Hussain Shah, who was the Muslim ruler. He was a tyranny, very cruel. Because Sanatana Goswami had no interest to support the Muslim ruler in conquering kingdoms. So Sanatana Goswami became very much absorbed in reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And he told Nawab Hussain Shah that I am sick. Nawab Hussain Shah, he sent a messenger to check the health of Sanatana Goswami. And he found that Sanatana Goswami is in a perfectly healthy condition. He's sitting in the courtyard in his palace with many sadhus, and they are together discussing Bhagavatam for hours every day. So the Muslim king became very angry, and he told Sanatan that what are you doing? I want your favor to go and conquer kingdoms. And you told you are lying. You told you were lying. You told me that you are sick. Sanatana Goswami said, my soul was sick. My mind was sick. I was sick because of materialism. Now I want to nourish my soul. And that's why this is my recovery to my original state of consciousness, my recovery to my Krishna consciousness. And I'm focusing on that. And I'm reading Srimad Bhagavatam. But the Shah, the Muslim king, was very angry. He put Sanatana Goswami in jail. Rupa Goswami has left a good amount of gold coins. Rupa Goswami sent a letter, use the gold coin somehow or other to free yourself from the jail. Rupa Goswami has already gone to Allahabad and through that to Vrindavan to meet Lord Chaitanya, who was on his way to Vrindavan. Their meeting happened in Allahabad actually. So Sanatana Goswami, he told the Shah, the Muslim king, he went with the whole army to conquer kingdoms. The jailer was there. So Sanatana Goswami told the jailer that I want to go to Mecca to worship God, because he was a Muslim jailer. It was a Muslim kingdom. So Mecca is like where Allah is worshipped. So people who are Muslim, for them Mecca is like for us Vrindavan. So Sanatana Goswami said, I want to go to Mecca to worship God, because ultimately the God is who has appeared in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is Srimati Radha and Sri Krishna have come together in the form of Lord Chaitanya. So he said, I am going to see God, I'm going to worship God. So please release me. And actually Muslim ruler will not do that. So Sanatana Goswami showed him 100 gold coins. He said, no, I will not release you. Then he made it 200, 300, 1,000, 2,000. I think few thousand, I don't remember how many gold coins Sanatana Goswami had. And he showed this whole bag and he said, I'll give you this many gold coins. And this Muslim jailer, he was like considering. When the amount became very high, all the amount that Sanatana Goswami had. Then the jailer said, yes, I will take this wealth. I will release you, but then the king will kill me. What will I do with the wealth if I die? Then Sanatana Goswami says, don't worry about it. You just tell the king that he went to the river to use the restroom and then he drowned and he died. Say like that to the king. The king doesn't care. The king is just angry because, naturally he is hurt because false ego is hurt because I am not supporting him. But he has millions of people in the kingdom. If one goes away, it doesn't matter to the king. So just say that I drowned. So jailer said, okay. So Sanatana Goswami was released. He jumped into The Ganga he swam across, and then he continued his journey. On the way, Sanatana Goswami met one of the relatives, and he asked Sanatana Goswami, "You are so tired, you are in these rags which are torn apart completely, and you haven't eaten anything for days in such terrible situation. Please come, get recovered, stay couple of days in my house, and then you can start for Vrindavan to meet Lord Chaitanya." Sanatana Goswami said, "No, I have to go," because Sanatana Goswami was very eager to meet Lord Chaitanya. He said, whatever the situation is, his beard was growing long. Sanatana Goswami looks were very exhaustive. So, but he was very eager to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as soon as possible, and his brother Rupa Goswami. So he said, "I cannot stay here." So the family member, he gave Sanatana Goswami a quilt because it was very cold nights and Sanatana Goswami was shivering. So it was a very nice, silky, soft, good-looking, attractive quilt. So Sanatana Goswami wore it around him. He accepted it to please. He wore it around him, and then he left. And he was feeling a little warm. He was grateful. Then he walked throughout the night and the day and the night. Somewhere he would drink some milk if somebody is milking the cows. Continued walking, reached Varanasi. When he reached Varanasi, when he was outside the house, he was sitting and he was thinking, where do I search the Lord? It was so arranged that the Lord was staying in the house of Chandrasekhar. Chandrasekhar was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotee. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after completing his Vrindavan tour, he was going back from Vrindavan to Puri, and on the way he went through Varanasi, and in Varanasi, which is Banaras in Uttar Pradesh, in Varanasi, he stayed at the house of Chandrasekhar. When he was staying, right at that time, Sanatana Goswami was going to Vrindavan, and he came out and he was going through. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Chandrasekhar, outside you will see a devotee. Bring him inside. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows everything. He is Sarvagya. He knows past, present, future. Right at that moment, he said. And Sanatana Goswami was passing by. He was there. Chandrasekhar Acharya came out and he saw nobody around. So he went inside. He said, there is no devotee outside. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, is anybody there? He said, there is no devotee, but there is a beggar outside. I think he's just sitting. There is a beggar. He's walking by. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Chandrasekhar that bring him inside. So he told the beggar, hey beggar, Bhikhari, come inside. So Sanatana Goswami did not understand. Sanatana Goswami go inside, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came out, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Sanatana Goswami. And Sanatana Goswami was in tears, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in tears, embracing each other. Sanatana Goswami was completely unrecognizable because of the long beard and ragged, broken, because he just came out from the jail. So he was wearing a different kinds of robe, and because of because of the bushes, they were torn apart. And he had a very nice quilt though, a very nice quilt, kambal, and everything else was like broken, and long head, long hair, matty, dust, thick layer of dust in his hairs, beard full of dust, looking very like a unclean kind of situation. But Chandrasekhar was shocked because he knows Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not meet anybody. Whenever he meets, he speaks about chanting the holy name of Krishna, but he's embracing like they know each other for a very long time. There's actually second meeting of Sanatana Goswami Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. First meeting happened when Mahaprabhu showed his complete mercy to Rup, Sanatana and Anupam that time. In the second meeting, and Mahaprabhu was so happy, Sanatana Goswami life success fulfilled. So that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, this is Sanatana Goswami. He is fit to become the spiritual master for the whole universe. take him for shaving and head and bathing and give him clothes. So like take care of him, take care of Goswamiji. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so he became very well dressed and everything clean with tilak. So Mahaprabhu was very happy to see Sanatana Goswami. And Sanatana Goswami was still wearing the quilt, the kambal, very nice, shiny, attractive. So Mahaprabhu, when he was going inside, after meeting him, embracing him, they spoke. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was constantly looking at the quilt, the kambal. And then after looking constantly, then he went inside. Sanatana Goswami understood that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not approve my quilt. Then Sanatana Goswami went to the bank of Ganga. And Ganga flows in Banaras, Varanasi. There was a beggar sitting and he was wearing a torn quilt. So he asked the beggar, sir, will you exchange? I have this new quilt, very thick, very mulayam, soft, um, very warm, high quality, with your ragged, broken, um, unstitched thread coming out, dirty, old quilt. He said, why are you making fun of me? Goswamiji said, no, seriously, will you exchange? So they exchanged. Sanatana Goswami took that old rag and came in front of Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya, looking at the quilt, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, now your last attachment to this material world is gone. I am very pleased with you. So Mahaprabhu clearly exhibited to Sanatana Goswami that even to that extent of attachment to a quilt or a nice quilt. So Mahaprabhu said, now your last attachment is gone. So Mahaprabhu encouraged devotees not to be attached to the enjoyment of this material world. For Sanatana Goswami, it was very small, but for us, we may have many bigger attachments also. So Mahaprabhu, it is said, Mahaprabhu re bhakta gana vairagya pradhan. Among all the followers Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, renunciation is very prominent. So Mahaprabhu was very pleased by seeing devotees renouncing. But this renouncing is where does renunciation help actually? Why should we exhibit renunciation? We discussed what is not conducive for bhakti is dry renunciation. But in bhakti, do we have some renunciation? Yes. Some example of where renunciation is good, simple living. Very good. Simple living can be, new iPhones are coming, new headphones are coming, new this is coming, new that is coming. No, there is no need. Things are going fine. Oh, this laptop is good, but then having a touch screen laptop will be better, and a laptop which turns 360 degrees will be even better. And having this and having that, this leads to attachment in this world, and this makes the mind restless. The more we give the mind opportunities to look for more and more, it's just mind will become restless again over and over. And we are just feeding the restlessness of the mind. And all of them arise from desire to enjoy actually. So then it becomes unconducive to bhakti. Now, somebody living a simple life of simple living, somebody living a simple life, it's not that now they're doing sadhana bhakti. So renunciation is not sadhana bhakti. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommended because by default, we have a deep desire to enjoy. By default. And when we allow the desire to enjoy to reflect in our action, we become further attached. By enjoying this material world, our illusion will increase. That the material energy will now have a stronger hold in our lives. To be able to say no, we are promoting ourselves the principle that I'm not the enjoyer. Yeah, I want to enjoy this. No, but I'm not the enjoyer. Krishna is the enjoyer. My constitutional position is I enjoy service to Krishna. Our constitutional position is of a servant or a dependent enjoyer. So what really living entity can enjoy? Living entity cannot enjoy exploitation. People can have a very big post. People can have many comforts, but the heart will be empty. People can have everything in their life. People can have a very nice big car. People can have whatever they want. Very nice clothes to wear. Can have very nice business. People can have anything, but the heart will be vacant. The longing of the soul is only bhakti. Bhakti can only fulfill our heart. Devotion can give us a satisfactory experience. Everything else in this world is shallow. And this material world is full of shallowness. Everyone is shallow, and everyone is living in an illusion that by acquiring more things, my shallowness can go away and I can become fulfilled. But they don't understand the core principle. Fulfillment is not something that is attained externally. Fulfillment is something that is attained internally. My spiritual master, that's why I called his book the name The Journey Within. It's not an outward journey in this material world that's important. What your path is. It's the inward journey that is important. What your progress is. Where a yogi works. And a bhogi works in external journey. A yogi works in internal journey. So that's why this renunciation principle is important. The thing with the mind is, desires are there. More you feed them, the stronger is the force this mind has to enjoy. Enjoyment leads to dissatisfaction. Enjoyment leads to suffering. Srila Prabhupada says the moment we have desire to enjoy, and by any chance, if we want to enjoy, but we cannot enjoy, because the problem is the desire. If the desire is very strong, then we will never be satisfied with the objects of enjoyment. No matter what you have, you will be dissatisfied because you want more. You want to enjoy other things also now. The thing is, we want to become the supreme enjoyer. Everything for my enjoyment. And that person can never be satisfied. Bhagavatam says, Hiranyakashipu was always dissatisfied. Ravana was always dissatisfied. Although they had great amount of everything. A Viman that can run by his mind. Wealth, opulence, beauty, comforts, unlimited amount of sense gratification, but always dissatisfied. Why? Because a person who wants to be the enjoyer will be frustrated when he sees anything that he cannot enjoy. Anything others are enjoying, I cannot enjoy, he'll become envious. That's why a person who is second richest, third richest also want to become the first richest. Those are richest wants to work very hard to maintain that position. And then after having that, then again he's frustrated because now he wants something, but money cannot buy that. The thing is, the living entity and the material world will frustrate everybody because of the uncontrolled mind, which has a desire to enjoy, who wants to become the complete enjoyer, the sole enjoyer. And those desires are never fulfilled, and he's always dissatisfied in his mind. Prabhupada says, you see an object of sense gratification and you become dissatisfied. So the problem, the root cause of a problem is I have a desire to enjoy. The more you feed that desire, the more miserable we become. Because mind becomes stronger, 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 but it cannot enjoy. First of all, the experience is shallow. And it is also said that is also there in the thoughts only. When you actually attain what you're looking for, then you feel like, what's in this? A big position, those who are looking for big position, when they have, they feel like, why I was so much looking after this thing? What's in this? Big house, you get a big house. What's in this? Big car, you get a big car. What's in this? It is said, it is only in the mind. If that's an external journey. People are really mad after an external journey. There is a Hindi saying, Khoda pahar nikli chuya. We are working so hard to attain something, 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 something. And then we are not satisfied. None of our material desire, if fulfilled, can satisfy us, guaranteed. Whatever desires we have, we fulfill it. May Krishna fulfill your desire just to give us the realization that there is nothing there. One easy test we can do is think of whatever you want to attain. Think of people who have attained that and see if they are happy. This is intelligence, Bhagavatam says. There is talk between the sages. I don't remember which canto. One of the sages said, people running after so many things for pleasure, but I see people who have attained those sources of pleasure are not happy. Then how can I convince myself that if I attain the same thing that the whole world is looking for will make me happy? But I see people who are looking for devotion in their heart are actually fulfilled, are actually happy. People who have that internal relationship, that internal deepness in their spiritual practices, a deep fulfilling sadhana, people who have those are actually satisfied. So let me try to strive in this direction. Effort we have to put, but where do you want to put your effort into? Vaishya Prabhu says, where attention goes, energy flows. What do you want? What is really important to you? Is Krishna consciousness a good to have thing, or is Krishna consciousness, I'm mad for it? I really want it at any cost. I'll do whatever it takes to get it. Or is it like nice, give me some settlement and some peace, and then with that I can deal better in this material world? If that is the thing, then we are using spiritual life to peacefully live in this material world. Spiritual life is not to peacefully live in this material world. Spiritual life is to get out of this material world. It's not to peacefully live in this material world. So that's why renunciation is emphasized also. Because if you let the mind get what it wants and don't lead a simple living, then it's like, like putting fuel into the fire and it will burn with more and more and more and a completely dissatisfied mind. You know what? Whose mind is completely satisfied? Who doesn't have any material desires? They're satisfied in every situation. But that is the result of their internal devotion, that they have lost all desires. Or Krishna's mercy, that they have realized the futility of this material world. Mercy on them. Or Krishna's mercy, that they have come out of illusion. If we love somebody when they're not there, we feel separation from them. Yesterday, I was discussing with a group of devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam, Yudhishthir Maharaj was feeling separation. First canto, Yudhishthir Maharaj was feeling separation from Dhritarashtra and Gandhari and Vidura. They all were living under the care of Yudhishthir Maharaj. Yudhishthir Maharaj was the king. He was taking care of his uncle very nicely. After Mahabharata war, all the sons of Dhritarashtra died. So Dhritarashtra was living still in the kingdom. Yudhishthir Maharaj was taking care of all his needs, and his Gandhari, like his mother. Vidura, his uncle and well-wisher. He came in the morning and he saw nobody is there, everybody left. He asked Sanjaya. Sanjaya said, I don't know. Sanjaya was also crying, feeling separation from Dhritarashtra, Gandhari and Vidura. Yudhishthira Maharaj was very morose. Where did they all go? Why they didn't tell us? Are they all right? Are they maintaining themselves well? That time Narad Muni comes and tells Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj asks him, where did they all go? My heart is paining by seeing them not here. I'm feeling separation from them. Narad Muni says, well, if you feel separation from anyone for whatever reason, you should know feeling of separation is only because of the act of illusory energy and nothing more. I was very much surprised how strongly Narad Muni is speaking to Maharaj Yudhishthira, who is a pure devotee. Still, Narad Muni is such a straightforward that he is telling separation from anything in this world is a product of illusory energy and nothing more. The thing is, the more we enjoy, the more we go under illusion. The more we strengthen our conception of our bodily conception of life. If you're not trying to come out, we are naturally going in. It's normal to go in. It's very hard to come out. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommended renunciation. What does Lord Krishna says about how to control the mind? He says, practice and renunciation. Without renunciation, how can you control the mind? If you do whatever mind wants, then mind is in control, right? Then mind is controlling us because mind is the king. Whatever mind wants, I let him do. Mind says, yeah, this thing has come, I want to buy it. What about this? What about this? So we should be able to control the mind. That requires renunciation practice. But it's not possible. So renunciation is very much emphasized to grow in bhakti. But if renunciation is not connected to bhakti, then it is not recommended. At the same time, it should not be too hard also. Too hard will have another effect in our heart. Too strict. My spiritual master also says, whoever was very strict in ISKCON is not there in the mission today. So too strict is not good. So there has to be a right balance. But the act of renunciation, when it is acted at this point of time, eventually by pure bhakti, as the heart becomes purified, as we become more deeply absorbed in our Krishna consciousness, as our desires will reduce, that renunciation will become natural for us and you don't have to put any effort in that. But not easy. Not easy. because senses are very, very powerful. Mind is very powerful. And we are very afraid to say no to our mind and senses. Okay, these were some thoughts. A person's attachment to objects, however deep they may be, is usually destroyed when he or she develops taste for worshipping Hari. However deep the attachment is in this material world, it will be destroyed when he or she develops taste for worshipping Hari. One time devotee asked Prabhupada, how do we know if we are making progress? Prabhupada said, as you make progress in your Krishna consciousness, material desires will reduce. Why regulative principle? Regulative principle is a sort of renunciation. No meat, renounce illicit sex, renounce intoxication, including tea and coffee, renounce gambling. These are renunciation. Why we are renouncing these things? We are trying to avoid committing sinful activities, and we are trying to give up that tendency for unrestricted enjoyment. Purposes you want to enjoy, then do it according to Vedic injunctions, under control. Otherwise, mind may become too cranky. So there are some sanctions there. But ultimately, we want to overcome this desire. Why does Rupa Goswami says usually destroyed? If you see in the first line, it says a person's attachment to object, however deep they may be, is usually destroyed when he or she develops taste for worshipping Hari. So the question comes, why Rupa Goswami says usually destroyed? Though Ruchi dissolves almost all worldly attachments, some will remain. The next stage, Ashakti, will dissolve those. The preceding stage, Bhava, will totally eliminate whatever attachments still remain. So it's like, when Anatha Nivritti is gone, then attachments have reduced quite low. Still some remain. And gradually, the attachment will go further down and down. So at the stage of Anatha Nivritti, the attachments are usually destroyed. Two types of renunciation. Worldly detachment is to utilize things without attachment in the service of Krishna. Since the topic is very big, there are many ifs and buts that comes in this topic of renunciation. Worthy detachment is to utilize things without attachment in the service of Krishna. One Prabhu, he read about renunciation, gave up his car before he came to Krishna consciousness. Western devotee, we told him, Prabhu, real renunciation is use car in Krishna service. Now you cannot go to buy bhoga for Krishna. Now you have such difficulty to go to programs and take association. So then it becomes unworthy detachment. So one has to be very careful is what cannot be utilized in Krishna's service. What is extravagance and simply with a desire to enjoy. What has is used in Krishna's service but can be misused also, and being careful to using it for the right purpose, like internet. It has great use in Krishna's service, but it has to be used for the right purpose. So everything, so renunciation is constantly there, but at the same time, complete renunciation, which actually obstruct our bhakti, is unworthy renunciation. And which is not connected to bhakti is like simply a material activity. Okay, sometimes people ask us, why are you utilizing material products if you condemn the advancement of material civilization? But actually, we do not condemn. We simply ask people to do whatever they are doing in Krishna consciousness. Basically, whatever we have, Prabhupada says, you have something. You have a phone, you have a car, you have a house. Use in Krishna service. The problem is not in having things. The problem is trying to acquire things for the sake of enjoyment. But one has to be a little careful because the mind is very tricky. The mind can cheat us also. I want this because it has a nicer camera, and with this camera I can take better pictures of Radha Gopijana Vallabha. And then I can absorb more in my Krishna consciousness. Mind can cheat us also. That's why Prabhupada emphasizes simple living. So, there is always a thin line. What is extravagance? What is not simple living? Where am I actually going to things just with a desire to enjoy? And what is the basic necessity that I need? Rup Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they are writing about Yukta Vairagya, but their life is very simple. They're living under different trees, different huts. They're speaking about this principle, but they are reluctant to make a bhajan kuti for themselves. They would rather sit in hot sun to do their bhajan. And for them, building a bhajan kuti, they feel like it's sense gratification. What is the need? I can sit on the bank of the Kund and do my bhajan. Why do I need to build a bhajan kuti and do the bhajan? Sanatana Goswami was saying, Raghunath Das Goswami, at least build a bhajan kuti for yourself. So Radharani doesn't have to come and put her achal on your head to protect you from burning sun. Because you should become so absorbed in chanting and your skin starts burning. Sometimes Bagh, tiger comes drinking water from the Kund because it's a forest that time. There are many wild animals. They come drinking forest and Krishna has to come to make sure he doesn't attack you. But if you have a bhajan kuti, then you don't have to take service from Radha and Krishna. Rather, our life is meant to serve them. Our life is not meant to take service from them. So please build a bhajan kuti. Then Das Goswami was convinced, yeah, I think I should take a bhajan kuti because I don't want to accept service from them. I'm their eternal servant. How can I accept service from my masters? So those people, their renunciation, and they speak about Yukta Vairagya. So one has to be very careful. What is simple, what is extravagance, what renunciation is good, what renunciation. And Krishna has given us intelligence. The thing is, in the name of Krishna consciousness, anything is allowed actually, except regulated principles. But then we have a choice. Sometimes people ask us, why are you utilizing? Okay. Unworthy attachment is when one, in search of liberation, totally renounces objects related to Hari, considering them to be material. Oh, this microphone is material object. I do have nothing to do with material object. Oh, this speaker is material object. Now we are going in the other extreme. Bhogi is one extreme. Jnani is one extreme. Everything is Maya, give it up. Bhogi acquired everything because I can enjoy the whole world. But bhaktas are balanced. They have discrimination. That's what Rupa Goswami wants us to have. Bhakti through wealth and students is having. Okay, let's see. The spiritual master must never be carried away by the accumulation of wealth or a large number of followers. This is specifically for spiritual masters or, like spiritual leaders. The spiritual master must never be carried away by an accumulation of wealth or a large number of followers. A bona fide spiritual master will never become like that. But sometimes, if a spiritual master is not properly authorized and only on his own initiative becomes a spiritual master, he may be carried away by the accumulation of wealth and large number of disciples. His is not a very high grade of devotional service. If a person is carried away by such achievements, then his devotional service becomes slackened. One should therefore strictly adhere to the principles of disciplic succession. In other words, having or accumulating large amount of wealth to serve Krishna is not anga of bhakti, and to have many disciples is also not anga of bhakti. Prabhupada says one may be carried away by these things. One may aspire for these things, and one may be affected by these things. If they are there, then there is one kind of effect. One feels very comfortable, one may feel proud, one may feel oneself better than others. If they are not there, one may feel depressed, one may feel envious of others, one may feel whatever. Prabhupada says if one is affected by wealth and followers, then one's devotional service is not a very high grade. It does not mean that one should, like Prabhupada told Jayapataka Maharaj, you should have 60,000 disciples. May you have 60,000 disciples. Maharaj has over 60,000 disciples by the mercy of spiritual master. But Maharaj is not attached. Maharaj is absorbed in his own bhakti, and his purpose to accept disciples or his purpose to travel is service to Srila Prabhupada, he says. They take a lot of inconvenience, lot of trouble just because it is their service to Prabhupada. Another misconception is if somebody has more disciples, he's more advanced. So this sannyasi, how many disciples he has? Oh, he must be a great sannyasi than this sannyasi who has less number of disciples. That's not how bhakti is judged. One aspect is there. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says one can know one's Krishna consciousness by how many people he has brought to Krishna consciousness. With that, one can judge one's Krishna consciousness. How many people he or she has brought to Krishna consciousness. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says one can know how advanced one is by how many devotees he or she has brought to Krishna consciousness. But then there is one more factor with it, and that is desire. There are two kinds of devotees. One are bhajananandis, one are ghoshyanandis. Bhajananandis are those who are interested in bhajan. Ghoshyanandis are those who are interested in preaching and bhajan. Those who are bhajananandis, they are concerned only with their own spiritual life. There are many acharyas in our line who had one or two disciples. Does not mean they are less advanced than some others. But if one is really trying to preach, then among them, some of them are more effective than others. That is based on one's purity also. So both factors are there. But yes, one should not be carried away. One should be satisfied with one's own sadhana. Bhakti through intelligence, the ability of the intelligence to distinguish between the spirit and matter. Okay, a few more minutes. The ability of the intelligence to distinguish things like spirit and matter is special because all spiritualists resort to it, but it is still not accounted as a part of sadhana bhakti. So creating more disciples, accumulating more wealth, using one's own intelligence, renunciation, acquiring knowledge, karma, these are the things not included in the anga of sadhana bhakti. All are useful. Renunciation is useful. Knowledge is useful. Having resources is useful to spread Krishna consciousness. Having devotee congregation is helpful to spread Krishna consciousness. All are useful. Doing our karma is also important. Using our intelligence is also important. But they are not counted as if one is very renounced, then he is a devotee. If one has lot of knowledge, then he is a devotee. If one is very good in his karma, he is very devotee. If one is very intelligent, he is a devotee. Gyanis are very intelligent. They can distinguish between what is matter, what is spirit, but they're not bhaktas. They're not doing sadhana bhakti by using their intelligence by distinguishing. Karma, intelligence, knowledge, renunciation, wealth, followers, not bhakti. There are many people who have so many followers, so many missions on YouTube, millions of views, millions of followers. When they come, thousands goes there. Not necessarily they're doing sadhana bhakti. There are people who have lot of wealth. Like I think Ramdas, no, what's his name? Baba, there is Patanjali Yoga Sutras leader. Lot of wealth does not mean bhakti. Lot of followers does not mean bhakti. So when we say these are not anga of sadhana bhakti means having those, it's not like this is my service to Krishna. Krishna will provide whatever is necessary. You can use them in Krishna's service. If you renounce when Krishna provides something, that is unworthy renunciation. Without attachment, you can use everything in Krishna's service. Krishna will also not provide things that can disturb us. Krishna knows, if I give him this facility, he'll fall down. So I should not provide him which will hamper his bhakti. First, Krishna wants us. Everything else later. Krishna does not care how much service we do in the end. Krishna is the doer anyways. If we cannot do much service now, because we may not be ready for it, Krishna will prepare us when we are ready. Krishna will let us do a lot of service that time. So none of these things should be one's aspiration. Whatever is needed, Bhakti will provide. Bhakti will provide the manpower, Bhakti will provide the resources, Bhakti will provide renunciation, Bhakti will provide knowledge, Bhakti will provide intelligence, Bhakti will provide the inspiration to do duty with reference to Bhakti. Bhakti will provide everything. They are given by Bhakti. Separately practicing these things is not Bhakti. The ability of the intelligence to distinguish things like spirit and matter is special because all spirituals resort to it. We need to understand, this I must be careful. This is not bhakti. This is because of the illusory energy. My mind is dissatisfied. I have attachment to these things. Krishna, I don't want it. Krishna, I just want to be engaged in your service. Krishna, please take away my material attachments from me. This is intelligence. Lack of intelligence means you thought comes, how can I enjoy? This is material intelligence. So we need intelligence to distinguish. But it is still not counted as a part of sadhana bhakti. Self-realization is byproduct of sadhana bhakti, and there is no need to separately practice or cultivate it. No need to separately practice what is right intelligence and cultivate it. As the illusion reduces, the right intelligence and right discrimination will be there. Why we lack discrimination is because of attachment. When we are attached to something, we cannot see the things as they are. Then we see things from the lenses of our attachment. But the more you come out of it, my spiritual master says, the more you see the reality of that thing, the true nature of that thing. The more you go in, more we cannot understand. Intelligence becomes vague. Attachment takes over, mind takes over. cannot think beyond it. Okay. So we will stop here. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Let's see if anyone has any discussion. Anyone has any question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Prabhuji, one grateful for the session, Prabhuji. Just on the last part, when you said that self-realization is a byproduct of sadhana and should not be separately uh, cultivated. Like, will you kindly please elaborate more on this, Prabhuji. Like, we have our committed rounds, we have our daily practices for devotional service, but then over throughout the day we hear about when we are engaged in any service, remembering Krishna, remembering what we have heard from devotees. So the differentiation between matter and spirit, that is a thought process that comes like this is my material need. I should not go dive more into it. So is not that a part of self-realization? Like I'm just trying to contemplate what exactly it means when we say that self-realization should not be cultivated separately.
Yeah, like Prabhu Gyanis, na, they use their intelligence to discriminate what is matter, what is this. Gyani means speculation, using one's intelligence. Like one statement very commonly we hear is beauty is only skin deep. There's so many things they use their intelligence to say no to things and yes to things. So what it says is if somebody using one intelligence to discriminate between matter and spirit, it's not a anga of bhakti, but it is something as one practices bhakti, one will naturally have the intelligence given by Krishna. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayantite. I give you the intelligence by which you can come to me. So we will naturally have discrimination of what is conducive for me, what is not conducive for me. And then we'll get strength from Krishna to act on it. And it will be very solid. But there are many like Vishwamitra Muni who practice a lot of intelligence, discrimination. But then sometimes we see they still fell victim to it. So it's not something that is separately tried to be inculcated. It's not by practicing that one is pleasing Krishna or one is practicing sadhana bhakti or one is growing in devotion. Rather, one focuses on the 64 angas of sadhana bhakti like Bhagavatam, chanting, association, and the necessary intelligence to advance is naturally given to us. So that's why it's not one of the 64 angas of bhakti. Is that all right, Prabhuji?
So I humbly admit that there is a jnana part mixed in the practices that sometimes I humbly admit that the jnana gets mixed into bhakti. This is very helpful, Prabhuji, that this is not a part of bhakti, like cultivating self-realization separately. Instead, we must focus on the 64 angas of bhakti, and naturally Krishna will be intelligent. This is very helpful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat.
Dandavat pranam, Mata. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Prabhupada. Prabhuji, one question, Prabhuji, like how to identify laziness versus, like, say example, though sometimes like, say example, like if we have ability, we do things, not we, Prabhuji, like I do think that like because of laziness, maybe time did not come or something. Say example, if I want to increase rounds from 16 to 18 rounds, say example. So if I have the strong desire to increase, like as you explained before, Prabhuji, like if we have strong desire, Krishna will help, but maybe excuses will come in the mind saying that, so you have all these things. Say example, like waking up early in the morning, finishing all of the rounds. Then like sometimes excuses do come, right, Prabhuji? Like now we, by seeing excuses, so keeping laziness in the center, like how do we overcome those? Prabhuji?
Is this the same question you asked last week? Correct?
Yes, Prabhuji, half of the part, some of the part.
So, what is the new question?
So those are all excuses, right, Prabhuji? Like suppose if we identify that as excuses, so then like we can understand, we can do that. Say example, like though maybe excuse is lack of sleep, or excuse is like for seeing that like I have this service for kids or something, like though if we have everything, like if we have strong desire, we can still make it, like Krishna will give strength. So how can we overcome that? Have the strong desire to take shelter of Krishna on that, on all situations. So many situations I do feel like because of laziness, like I'm looking for all those things that like excuses, mainly like I think I'm using excuses to not overcome the laziness.
Mother, a few thoughts are, yes, determination is needed. Sometimes it's nice to see, I mean, specifically, what's important is we try. One thing is we can pray to Krishna before we sleep. Krishna, please help me to get up at this time. I really want to finish my rounds by this time. Krishna, please help me in this situation. That will help. Another factor is also sometimes Krishna plays a role and interferes in our life. Sometimes it's good to see the hand of Krishna in the way things are going. Like suppose every day we are getting up early. Someday we did not get up early. Then we can think of Krishna has a plan, that's why this happened. And Krishna will give me the time, good time, to chant and finish my rounds. Because Krishna said, time I am. Sometimes we may become disheartened, angry with ourselves. Why this happened? We may become frustrated with everything we do. So that thing should be avoided. It's nice to see the hand of Krishna. Then if it was great struggle till late night, our rounds were finishing, then sometimes that also helps to strengthen our determination. Oh, this should not happen again. It was very difficult to finish all the rounds because I got up late in the morning. Next day, our own determination also increases by Krishna's mercy. And we really pray hard to Krishna. Krishna, please, tomorrow I don't want to get into this troubled situation of keeping my chanting the whole day. Please help me in this situation. And because of the strong determination, we may get up again the next day. Is it all right? These were some thoughts, Mataji.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Prabhuji's Mataji's, thank you very much for joining. If I spoke anything wrong, please excuse me, and thank you for tolerating me. Vancha kalpa tarubhesha kripa sindhu me evacha patitanam pavane Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much, Prabhuji.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam. Prabhuji's Mataji. Hare Krishna.